Hello everyone. I'm going to share with you a craft that I've been making in my craft room that I think you might enjoy and be able to make at home. It's this little Easter bunny made out of what I think you might have at home, which are these toilet paper rolls. I think we might be having a few of those around the house. So I also happen to have had a button, and if you have that, you can use that. I did not have any wiggle eyes or pom-poms, but if you do, you could use those. Unfortunately, all my wiggle eyes and pom-poms are at school right now because I had anticipated doing this with you with our craft buddies, but that's okay. Since I'm not able to get in there, I just used what I had at home, and I'll show you some other variations in case you don't have some of these other supplies. But if you do, you'll be needing the toilet paper roll. You'll need some craft paint. This is the really cheapo paint from Michaels. It works really well. If you don't have craft paint, we'll show you also how to make this with paper. I'll show you how to cover it with white paper if you have any scratch paper around the house. You will need some newspaper or paper towel, something to protect your work surface. And do ask Mom and Dad where you can do this craft. They might prefer you using a workbench or an old table downstairs or somewhere where it won't get messy, just in case. You're also going to need some type of glue, liquid glue. This is what I have, but Elmer's glue will work great, whatever kind of glue you might have. You'll need scissors. You'll need a pencil. And then if you don't have black and pink cardstock or construction paper at home, you might also need a black and pink marker or crayon. So I'll show you some different variations. To get started, you're going to paint your toilet paper roll with white paint. And I really like this white paint from Michaels because it covers really well. And for the cheap paint, you wouldn't think so, but I covered this guy in one coat, and you can decide whether you're satisfied with that as well, or if you want to do 2 coats. But as you can see, we're just going to do a very basic painting. Now, if you don't have a paintbrush at home, you might also be able to use some type of old sponge, or perhaps you can even use a cotton ball or a paper towel. So again, before using anything, make sure you ask Mom and Dad if it's okay to use the things that are around the house. I do recall in my youth, I've always been a crafter. I've always wanted to make things around the house, and sometimes in my exuberance, I would forget to ask parents permission, and all of a sudden they'd be looking for the last Q-tip in the house, let's say, and I heard my dad bellowing out my name, knowing that I was probably the one that used it on a craft project. But anyway, so that you can avoid that same fate, I highly suggest asking your parents before using anything around the house. All right, so you can see how well that covers. I'm going to set this to the side to dry, and we'll see if we're happy with how it covered, and if not, we can touch up a little bit. While that's drying, I'm going to show you another way to do this in case you don't have any craft paint at home. If you have a piece of scratch paper, what you can do is lay your paper roll down and kind of mark. I'm using my tripod, so I'm a little awkward here. I apologize. Let me get a good angle so I can get in here. You can just kind of mark off and measure how long of a piece you're going to need in order to go around. And then, again, this is just kind of estimated, but I'm going to draw a straight edge here to try to cut as straight as I can without a paper cutter. You, of course, use a ruler, but this is, again, what I have on hand, so that's fine. I know that that's going to make it around, so I don't have to draw my line any farther. All right, so we're going to cut this. I hope you guys have been having fun with some of the challenges I've posted. Now that we know for sure we're going to be e-learning starting next week, the district is mad at work helping us with lesson planning and sharing the guidelines with us on what that looks like from the state as well. So all of that information I will have for you very soon. In the meantime, please don't be nervous about anything. We're all going to get through it together. And it might look a little different than what we're anticipating, or maybe we don't even know what it's going to look like or what to anticipate. But just know this, cherubs, whatever it is, we're going to be able to continue to learn because you guys are super smart and motivated, and your teacher is super smart and motivated, and we're going to have a fantastic month no matter what comes. All right, so you can see that that's pretty easy to cover. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this glue because it dries a little bit faster. This is like a glue runner, but you can use your Elmer's glue. That's okay. But for purposes of this video, I'm going to do a real quick glue with that. Okay, so that's another way to cover your roll if in the event you do not have paint. And you can see our paint's almost dry, but since it is not, I'm going to continue crafting on this guy because obviously he's dry. And obviously I'm having a really good time in my craft room. That's okay. If you do not have paint all over you by the time you're done, I personally feel you're just not doing it right. But anyway, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out and construct the paws and the ears. And as you can see, you can use whatever pink you have, but if you don't have pink, and I have to tell you, I was surprised this was two-sided. Isn't that cute? So I was happy to use it. But if you don't have pink paper, don't you worry. You can use the rest of this scrap that you just cut from your scratch paper and color it pink if you'd like with any marker. Or you can simply use if you've got some pink cardstock around the house. So what you're going to do, I'm going to start with my white. I'm going to draw out a couple ears. And the last set of ears I made, I kind of wanted them bigger. You know, they're okay. They're not horrible, but I'd like to draw them a little bigger. So that's what I'm going to do. So this time around, I'm going to go ahead and draw these ears out a little bit bigger. And I'm just freehanding this. I'm sure if you want to find a pattern online, there's lots of places to find one, but I kind of like the element of a homemade look, a home drawn look. And you know, it adds a little bit of individuality to each bunny. You can make a whole family of bunnies as you continue to use up toilet paper, or if you use paper towels, you can cut those rolls in half to make them, or even make some taller bunnies out of the paper towel rolls if you want to. You can do that as well. And you'll have a whole family of bunnies, and it might make a really nice centerpiece by the time Easter rolls around. All right, so I'm going to flip him over because I don't want to see my pencil marks, but I think I'm going to be happy with how big that ear is. Let me cut out the other one. And notice, if you have forgotten my tip, it's easier to turn your paper than it is to turn your hand with the scissors. Not only right now, I'm a little confined with my tripod here, but it just makes a cleaner cut if you turn the paper and not your scissors. So that little tip works for you. Groovy. All right, next I'm going to, and again, maybe this time I'll color. You can either color in the pink part of the ear, or if you want it to match the feet, you could cut it out of cardstock. I think this time, just for fun, I'm going to color it in. Oh, that's a nice bright pink, isn't it? I just feel like coloring. You know, that's something else I think I'm going to make some time for, is some adult coloring during spring break. It's one of those things that I find stress relieving, and it's kind of pretty to have something at the end that you like. You know I love my Crayola crayons, but sometimes I love using these markers too. All right, that's cool. It's not perfect, but it's good. And that's great because we don't ever let the perfect be the enemy of the good, do we? All right, and then next I want to make these feet. So I think I like this little paisley thing. So I'm going to draw them on the back here so that I can have that paisley showing. All right, and then again, the feet, I'm just kind of freehanding here. I'm just thinking about what little bunny paws look like. So, you know, just kind of a half oval shape there. That one got a little wonky, so I'm going to correct it as I cut it out here. All right. See, that's a better shape, don't you think? And then I'm going to kind of taper the ends here, and I'll show you why I do that in just a second. All right, and then this paw. Let me round that out a little bit more. I don't like how I drew it. You know, and here's what's great is, if you don't like how you drew it, try it again, right? Okay, that's pretty good. And again, I'm going to taper this. This is going to work as a tab on the inside of the bunny when we glue it. Before we glue it, I want to draw in this little detail here, which would be like his little toes. So I'm going to do that next. And you know, you decide what details you would like. You can make these as fancy as you want to. If you have glitter at home, again, ask your parents, especially with the glitter. You can add glitter. If you have like little embellishments, if your mom's or dad's scrapbook or sew like I do, you might want to look around the craft room and ask mom or dad if you could borrow borrow some of their supplies to add beads or whatever. All right, so do you see why I made a little tab? I'm testing them out right now to see that they're going to be sitting like this. Okay, in fact, I'm going to glue that part on first. This is where you'll use your little Elmer's or whatever glue you've got. I kind of like this stuff because it dries fast. Decide where you'd like I want to avoid this seam, so I'm going to make this the front of the bunny. So I'll make that decision and then go ahead and glue on one of your paws like so. Ooh, I can feel that came off. Let me hold it a little bit longer. And then I'll show you next how to make these little whiskers. And again, you could just draw these on if you want to, but I'll show you a little technique if you have any black paper. And again, if you don't have black paper, you can color some white paper with a crayon or marker, right? So you could get the black paper you need. Or purple, or whatever Easter springy color you like. You could do it that way too. Have fun with this. Like I tell you, whenever we do crafts, don't be afraid to make it your own, because I think that's what makes it the most fun and the most creative. You get some really unique takes on things when you do your own little spin on things or your own variations. All right, he's on there pretty good. So while he dries, I'm going to show you how to make these whiskers here. Super simple. You're just going to take a scrap piece of black cardstock, or again, color some white cardstock black solidly. You're only going to need a rectangle like this. And we're going to cut a shape called a matchstick, where you're simply cutting very small, thin strips like that. This is not scientific. I'm not measuring at all. But, you know, it's just kind of nice and thin. You want them to curl a little bit, but if they don't and you're not able to cut it too thin, don't you worry. I'll show you how to curl that. And in fact, I'll do that right now. This guy's curly. He's cool. This one's a little bit curled. I'm going to look for the thickest part. This one's pretty even. I'm just going to take this against my blade a little bit and give it a curl. If you've ever curled curling ribbon, it's the same kind of idea. Now, if this is something you don't want to risk getting hurt, you certainly don't have to, but I bet you can handle it. I got a lot of Code Club makers in my room, and I know you guys could probably handle this. But if not, no worries. They were curly enough to begin with. All right, so this time I'm out of little buttons and I'm out of pom-poms because those are at school. So what I'm going to do is, well, I've got a couple choices. I can draw one in, or I could use, ooh, look at this little scrap I have. I could use a little triangle, right, of pink paper. In fact, that would kind of match his paws. I'll use this side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it even more teeny tiny, this little triangle. And that's going to be his nose. So as you can see, you've got lots of options here, and he'll still be a very cute little bunny. So you'll glue that somewhere in the center. Let me glue his ears on next. These you simply just glue behind his head here, wherever that looks good to you. And if you use Elmer's glue, any glue that oozes out, you can just wipe off and it will dry clear. This stuff's nice too. It dries clear too. And then, oh, sorry, that's my heater. All right, so yeah, I like these ears bigger this time, don't you? I mean, he was okay, but I think that's got more personality, huh? All right, and now I think I'll go ahead and start drawing in the features. Now this time I made kind of like that half moon shape eyes last time. I think this time I'm just gonna make like their wiggle eyes. I'm just gonna make circles, but you make your eyes however you want. So you can draw in your eyes. And if you're not so sure about drawing in your eyes, how about some eyelashes? You can draw it on a scratch piece of paper and then glue it on like you did with the nose. Okay, now I'm gonna draw the mouth on too. This time I'm gonna give them some teeth too. I think bunnies look cute with their little teeth. Yeah, all right, good enough. And now I'm gonna glue on these little whisker guys. I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue at the end. And just kind of glue them out of the muzzle here that I drew in. These are really long this time. Looks a little long this time. You know what? I'll probably give my haircut. Look how big those are. It's a little too much. But you know, if you like that, that's cool. I think that looks a little better. Look like you need to go for a haircut. Wow, with us being at home all month, we're all gonna need a haircut, aren't we? Those of you who have moms or dads that cut your hair, you're really lucky. You're still gonna look all sharp when we go back to school. I'm gonna need a haircut. I'll look hairy. Get it, hairy? Hair? A bunny? You know I can't go one day without making a bad pun. That's probably one thing you have not missed about me. All right, let's see. Yeah, like this. So let's finish up this little detail. Oh, you know what else too? I forgot to put on my other bunny, but I'm looking over here and I see a cotton ball. I'm gonna add him a little tail too when we're done. Okay. That'll be good too, it'll give him more balance. Oops, I got a little crazy with the glue there. All right, let me turn him. And I'm gonna cut this side a little bit. Little crazy with the whiskers. Ooh, he wants to be on my thumb. No, go back to the project, please. All right, now, one other thing you might want to do, and I forgot to do this on my model, is glue a little cottontail on the back of them. So I'm gonna add that too for this guy. Put a little bit more glue on there. Aw, I like that detail, isn't that cute? All right, so now he is done. So here's a couple different ideas for you. I hope you liked it, and if you want to do another craft like this, please let me know if this is something you enjoy. I certainly love doing this kind of thing. This is my therapy, is crafting, and I'd love to share that with you. So if you like it, let me know, and if you make a bunny, would you please show me a picture of yours? I would love to see you participate if this is your thing. All right, my cherubs, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.